Thank you. Now, here's another headline for you, and this one is somewhat troubling. Non-profit healthcare is in deep trouble. Some say it is dying. Now, is that inflammatory? Is that overblown? Well, joining us is someone who knows the subject, Ken Starr, counsel supporting the non-profit healthcare industry. Judge, it's good to have you with us. We appreciate you being here. I believe you're in London right now, correct?
I am, Stuart. Thank you. I'm teaching in Pepperdine Summer Program, but it's good to be with you from London.
Well, sir, that was the headline. Non-profit healthcare in deep trouble. Some say it's dying. You represent that industry. Is that halfway accurate?
I think that's exaggerated, but what is happening, Stuart, is that the Internal Revenue Service, our friends at the IRS, are creating havoc and uncertainty by yanking tax exemptions in the nonprofit arena. And Vision Service Plan is a clear example of that. There is litigation involving that going to the Supreme Court. And in brief, the nonprofit sector in the healthcare industry is vitally important. And Vision Service Plan, this isn't a promo for them, it's just their situation and their story is very powerful. They serve underserved communities as well as companies and so forth. They provide a great service and have been tax exempt for almost a half century, but the IRS recently yanked the tax exemption. It's part of the uncertainty the IRS is creating, so perhaps the future, if IRS has its way, is for the nonprofit sector to go out of business and simply to move to a for-profit sector. And that, by the way, there's nothing wrong with the for-profit sector, although the studies tend to show, as you know, Stuart, that the nonprofit HMOs, and that's what VSP is, provide a very important and high-quality service. We should be encouraging these kinds of important organizations.
But what has VSP done to have its tax-exempt status yanked?
It has done nothing. It's the same kind of organization that it was. It's just larger. It's successful. As it was in 1960, Stuart, when it received its tax exemption from the IRS. It's the IRS which has changed its policy. It has different views with respect to HMOs, especially the kind that are network providers like VSP. And those are very efficient producers, and we think it's totally inconsistent with what Congress had in mind the last time Congress looked at this in 1986. When you're serving underserved communities, when a third of your activity, of your network providers are doing these wonderful good works, when you're not issuing dividends to stockholders and so forth, and you have educational outreach, and you have specific care programs for the needy and so forth, you are complying with what Congress established in the law. It's IRS that has changed its position. It's looking for tax money.
Indeed it is. Ken Starr, looking to support the non-profit healthcare industry, counsel for them. We thank you for joining us, Ken. Appreciate it, Judge. Thank you.
My great pleasure, Stuart. Thank you.
Let me remind you that the big story of the day is oil way down, $130 a barrel right now.